Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio.
Faite, welcome everybody. Good to see you all here. And it's a pleasure to be here with my friends Elsa Rossi, Nadia Gilles, and Charles Kemp. And today topic is Reincarnation, is a series of what if that is not the end. And I hope you enjoy. I can say there is a lot of things to talk, a lot of things to say, but we have a short time. No, but 1 hour here, 45 minutes here is not enough to talk everything what we have researched for and we have know here. So thank you very much. And Elsa, your time too.
Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, my dear friends. Buona mateno, buona nocton, buona vesperon. It's so nice to be here once again, to be part of this great team of friends doing our best to study together and to show to everybody how important it is to know a little bit more about spiritual world, about reincarnation. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
Labas vakaras visiems, laba diena, labas rytas. Šiandien turėsime dar vieną pokalbį. Bus apie dvasingumą, apie reinkarnaciją. Tikiuosi, kad jums bus naudinga. Good evening. Hello, everybody. It's also a pleasure for me to be here to help talking about sharing our knowledge about reincarnation, but also learning with you, with your questions. So please do ask and we can talk about it and we will learn together. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
Bonjour, bonsoir à tous. Merci d'être là avec nous, de nous écouter sur ce sujet spiritualiste. Est-ce que la vie continue après la mort et notamment aujourd'hui cette fameuse question de la réincarnation. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. Happy to be here again. Welcome to everyone on this theme of reincarnation, which is quite interesting, quite discussed, and we will try to elaborate a little bit more about it today.
Good, this is very good. So, yes, as we are saying in the beginning, we do have a lot to talk, but the open questions we are asking today is, we will reborn again a new body. Why I'm living my life experiencing all these, let's say, bucket of experience we have throughout our life, and for no reason, just we die, finish, that's it. We're gonna sleep and just wake up someday. You know, is the death the end of our existence? So we will go through some philosophical, scientist research with the help of our friend Charles Kemp and Nadia. Also, Elsa will give us some kind of help with research. And today we're going to celebrate here the research from a very good Brazilian scientist. And I hope you enjoy. I hope most of your questions, if not answered, at least you will have some starting point in your research, in your studies, and feel free to reach us, to email us or to write here in the comments. Your participation is more than appreciated. So please write your questions for us in the comment box, and we will reply throughout the live here. So thank you. So, can we start? Nadia, you have some briefing what we're gonna talk today with us?
Yeah, so we have many studies about reincarnation, past life, regression, and since the 1900s, with Albert de Rocha, I don't know if I'm saying it correct in French language, he started with past life regression therapy, and from there, we evolved in all the research, the methodological aspect of the research. So what Dr. Hernani Guimarães Andrade, the main researcher in Brazil, mentioned also is that we don't have the reincarnation, the idea of reincarnation as a dogma anymore. So it's not related to faith. It's in nature. It's a fact, is in nature. So everything is born, grows, dies, and is reborn again. You can see in a flower, an example. So it's always growing, rebirthing, and dying, and again, because we are evolving. We are progressing. Now, in nature, we are part of nature. So that's our reason for reincarnation. So when we believe in reincarnation, we can help understand, it can help understand the sufferings in our lives, some birthmarks and some deficiencies or disabilities. So I think throughout the conversation here, we're going to explore it a little bit more, but just to let you know that there are most of the serious scientists talking about reincarnation nowadays. The negativists or materialists people that believe that this is just cultural or illusions or hallucinations, they can even prove that. So they say that reincarnation doesn't exist, but they cannot prove it, that it's not also. So we're going to explore it a little bit more. So I'm going to pass to Charles so he can talk a little bit about the research in this field as well.
Yes, thank you, Nadia. I mean, first, how to say this, the idea of reincarnation is very old. It's in the beliefs of some religions, like Hinduism, which is several millenniums in the past. Also in Christianship, Jesus made some very clear statements about reincarnation in the Gospels. So then the question came back, of course, in the 19th century, and one first researcher who investigated this question of reincarnation was Allan Kardec, of course, in France, in the Spiritist teachings. And I must admit that in my case, when the spirit exists, yes, I had not so much difficulty to believe about it. But when it came to reincarnation, I had a little bit similar statement as Allan Kardec himself at the beginning. Okay, that the spirit exists, okay, fine, but that it reincarnates, wow, that's another dimension. And but the arguments were from Kardec were very strong. And then some more researchers started. It was beginning of the 20th century from, for instance, Gabriel Delanne and Colonel Albert de Rocha, only to talk about these two French researchers. And they were some kind of pioneers about Rocha's was regression, and Delanne, he studied also young children who had memories of past lives, and several other factors on reincarnation. And they really brought very strong arguments. And personally, I have been convinced by the arguments of Gabriel Delanne. And then more recently, you talked about it a little bit already. Hernani Guimarães Andrade is a Brazilian researcher who made also extraordinary researches on reincarnation and published some books. I think Elsa will come back on this a little bit later. And Ian Stevenson. What is remarkable, he's American, from the university, I don't remember which one now, Virginia, but I'm not 100% sure.
Virginia, yeah. He's Canadian.
He's in Virginia.
It's Virginia, the University
Yes,
of
Ian Stevenson. And one of the main differences between the French Spiritist and the Anglo-Saxonic or American or British spiritualists was that the first were believing in reincarnation and were convinced about it, and the second one not. And what is remarkable is exactly that Ian Stevenson made these works in United States, so one of the countries where there was the biggest resistance about reincarnation. And his studies really were very, very extensive. As you told Nadia, researching about birthmarks and showing a link between some birthmarks and the wounding the people had in their past lives when they were killed or when they died. This plus also investigating hundreds of cases of people who claimed having a memory of a past life and giving a lot of very accurate information that at the end could be verified and checked, and also checking that they had absolutely no other means of Googleizing or searching in internet or wherever to get the information they were claiming to remember themselves. So this is, how to say, the main topics of the researchers on reincarnation that I'm aware now. There are also some surveys, but I think we will also come back later on this.
And now, my dear friend, what you're gonna bring to us?
So many things. My mind is like that. A machine working. Because I was listening Dr. Hernani Guimarães Andrade. Because I followed Dr. Hernani for probably more than 40 years until he died. And we have the great pleasure to publish some of his books here in the UK, translated by Guy Leon Playfair, our dear friend that passed away 3 years ago. And Dr. Hernani was saying that ancient times, the church imposed the word resurrection, that is totally impossible. You come back to the same body that was decomposed. That's no way. Reincarnation in a good study by Allan Kardec make us really think about the spiritist science, how the reincarnation can mean that your soul come back live again in a physical body. And we have these good researchers, and tonight we will make a humble homage to Dr. Hernani Guimarães Andrade, this researcher that brought so many cases and published so many books about past lives, about the reincarnation. And one of the cases that he shows in the book Reborn for Love, that I have here and you'll see later on, the book, he was talking about a child that reincarnates in the same time that his mother was, when she was a girl, she met a priest and make a bond, a fraternal bond with this priest. And when she grew up, she married, she get this baby, a boy, and the boy was saying to her, I'm not this name they killed. I am a Father Alexander. I am a priest. And he was a small child, discussed with his mother and say so many things that for her was the priest, because she knew the priest when she was a little girl. And what means that, according to Dr. Hernani Guimarães Andrade, when the spirit died, physical body, the spirit is free, go to the spiritual world, and stay there for 20, 10 years, and return. It's a quicker return because you can be in spiritual world for 200 years, 100 years. That makes it impossible for you to remember your past life. But when you have a short time in spiritual world between your death and the born again, you can remember things from the past life and say so many things that the Ian Stevenson, Dr. Banerjee, Dr. Hernani Guimarães Andrade, they met and together they built these marvelous researches regarding birthmarks in the body. For example, a girl, she was hit by the train. She was totally delacerated by the train, one incarnation. She, more than 7 years later, she born again, and she had a lot of marks, very nasty marks in her body. And it was clear for her that she was hit by train. She knew everything what's happening. She pointed the city, the places, the time, what she was doing, how the situation was happening. So this is a scientific research. It's not something like that comes from the mind of a child, and you believe and you go and say that's true. No, they do all these steps to do really a research to prove that the people, the person, the child lived before. So I don't know if Esteban can show the small video now or later on.
Can I just
let's leave
complement.
the video surprise for the end. Yeah,
I will complement a little bit just with some numbers and more information. Dr. Hernani also mentioned that talking about this time that we stayed, we spirits stayed in the spiritual life, he said that there is the majority of us stayed around 250 years. Some will stay 1,000 years, some will stay 2 years or less. Those who stay less, and according to researchers and according to Ian Stevenson, Jim Tucker, and more recently, also from the Virginia University, the medium is 4.5 years that they stayed between the death and the reincarnation in the spiritual world. And because they stayed so short period in this time in the spiritual world, they cannot, their perispirit, which is this layer that connects our spirit to our body, cannot recover so fast. And then they can come back. When they come back, they have these vivid memories while they are still a child, and there are marks in the body or some, as I said, there's some the abnormalities, because of wound marks of violent deaths or of gunshot wounds or the train accident. And I want to correlate this with the post-traumatic stress disorder, because these traumas that we have stayed in our unconsciousness. So this can be very debilitating when we are incarnated. When in our life, for example, in this incarnation, if we have suffered a trauma, and we tend to, with our consciousness, try to suppress this event, so it can be so harmful to you, or some to be harmful, to not allow you to progress or to develop in life. But when you get to this point that the trauma is so vivid, you cannot live it properly. So people who went to war, they come back and they have this nightmares and trauma. So then they need this therapy. A lot of therapy is very important, psychotherapy, or even regression, hypnotherapy and regression. And that's how we get to start talking about reincarnation, because then we can get to that point where there was a trauma and the person makes the click, and then they get better. Some cases that Dr. Hernani tells us, and Dr. Ian Stevenson as well, patients got better. I'm sorry, there was a video from Jim Tucker, Dr. Jim Tucker online. You can find it online, about a girl that had very asthma attack. She was investigated by several doctors, psychotherapy, nothing was happening, nothing was helping. Regression therapy. She got to the point that she was it was Dr. Hernani, yes. She was suffocated in the previous life, hanged, died by hanging. And then she got better after that. So this is also a kind of treatment for traumas, psychosomatic disease, phobias, and so on. So fears as well. No? So just complementing a little bit what Elsa was saying.
So imagine when you had, for example, your child and say, I am not your child, I am your grandpa, do this for me, same for the mother. Because this happened. When I was a worker in a Espírito Center in São Paulo, they call Nossa Casa, the name of this center, near the Ibirapuera. That was Oladia and Osavinha, mother and daughter. They were directing this group there. And there's a case that a worker of the house, she get pregnant, and the baby was saying was her grandfather, granddad. A small one, I was there. And so they, of course, not something that went out as a research or things like that, but everything, even the birthmark the granddad had, everything was showing that was really the granddad that came in the body as a son of his granddaughter. It was something that I was there to see this kind of the conversation. But it's really nice. It's really nice, this science that's showing us not a religious thing, that we can live in the many mansions of the Father, because we can reincarnate outside of our planet, or we can receive other visitors incarnating this planet. No? Reincarnation is something true.
Yeah, the researchers from all these studies by Dr. Ian Stevens and by Dr. Hernani Guimarães Andrade, they were made in the 50s, 60s, 70s. So at that time, there was no communication on internet, like we mentioned before. So they had to go and talk to every person and collect all the information, travel miles, many kilometers from one place to another, and go through archives, historic archives, and some newspapers. And so this was very interesting. Nowadays, we can use the technology that we have, like we mentioned in other live, I think it was our third video on YouTube Live on Thursday, that we can use the technology with MRI scans and proving that this mediumistic event, the people talking to those who have already died, who are in the spiritual realm, and they will prove that life continues, so life goes on. And they all sometimes say even when they are going to reincarnate, more or less, of course not this exact date, but they can say that they will reincarnate, and then they usually come back. So this is something very interesting, that the technology is evolving, we are evolving and progressing, and there will be a time that we won't need to reincarnate anymore. because the word reincarnate is that, to go back to the flesh. Carne is a Latin word for flesh. So reincarnate is go back to the flesh. So that's a difference from resurrection, because when you resurrect, you have to go back in that same body. So this happens when you have a cardiac arrest. Yes, that's why we call resurrection, resuscitation, sorry. Resuscitation, the heart stops and then we make it beat again, so for short period of time. But it's different from resurrection or reincarnation. So reincarnation is the same spirit in another matter, another body.
Yeah.
Charles is quiet today.
Yeah, now Charles, I put it here, it tries to work right now. Let me share my screen here. Charles will give you a very good research here. Charles, you conduct me the way you want to show. Here we have.
So there is some data, and this data has been brought. First time I saw it, it was by professor from Iceland, Erlendur Haraldsson, which is also a big researcher about spirituality and reincarnation. And there are some European value studies, surveys regularly. And within these European value studies, which has been extended, by the way, in world value studies, one of the questions is, do you believe in life after death? And do you believe in reincarnation? So there is a clear question exactly about this subject. And here you can see on the left table the results from the survey from 2008. So basically, roughly, you can see that more than half of the Europeans, or in here you can see also Western Europe, Eastern Europe, and even more, 3/4 of the American people. And in Asia, you can see it's between 58 and even much more. In Africa, 81% of the people, they believe in life after death. So we talked about it, I think it was in our first emission. Clearly, the majority of people today are already spiritualists because they believe that the life continues after death. In one manner or another, it continues. And now the other question, as you can see on the left side, is do you believe in reincarnation? Of course, then the percentage is a little bit less than life after death, because within the people who believe in life after death, you have some that believe, okay, we go either to heaven or to hell. This is what we also developed in the past emission. But here you can see that more than half of the spiritualist people in Europe, they already, who believe in life after death, they believe already in reincarnation. And it's quite interesting, Nadia, just a small hello for our Lithuanian auditors, that Lithuania is very, very high. It's something like 75% believing in life after death. Lithuania, yes, 71%, you can see. Yeah. And in reincarnation, it's more than 42, 43%. So I don't know why, but in reincarnation,
71% almost.
Exactly. So this is 71% believe in life after death. So it's very strongly above the European average. I don't know why, so maybe we can investigate this.
I think it's very interesting data. I think, in my opinion here, the Lithuanians are very, very spiritualistic, and because I think of the pagan times and late Christianity, but it's also in everyday life about spirits, and they do believe in reincarnation. I think I mentioned this in one of our first videos, that the soul can reincarnate not only in a human body, but as a plant, as a bird, as a dog, as a tree. So that's something very interesting from the Lithuanian culture.
Yeah, I'm putting the link to everyone to see here in the comment box, so anyone can go and and watch it. And by the way, we would like to say thank you, our dear friend Paulo Mortosa from Hawaii. He's with us today. Elsa Lee from Sweden. More friends from America. So thank you very much. And if you have any questions, please write in the comment box. Sorry, Nadia. Keep going.
No, that was all. Yeah, that was interesting to say that they believe in reincarnation, but not in just as a human body, but also in animals, plants, and
metempsychosis, or it's a little bit wider. Huh? That's correct. Okay, so our goal here is exactly to bring, okay, what is the logic behind, what are the arguments behind? Of course, these studies from Ian Stevenson, it's the most recent one. He died in 2007, and Jim Tucker is still continuing, are very, very strong. And this case of a young boy who remembered having crashed in an airplane in the war in Japan, giving the name of the ship, the name of his friends, and so on. Everything could be verified later on. I had a similar case here in France, the same, one young guy who remembered also very similar, a crash in a plane in the Second World War between France and UK somewhere. So there are now more and more evidences, and I would like to stress also that on top of these facts of young people or young boys or girls who remember details of the past lives and the birthmarks and so on, we have also all the, how to say, philosophical arguments. We have seen, okay, we have a soul. The soul survives after death. And where do we come from? That was the third question, as you remember from the beginning. But the soul is reincarnating. It's one of the answers. And the reincarnation also on a philosophical point of view is explaining a lot of things. How can you explain that some people are born rich, some are born poor? How can you explain that some are healthy, the other one have very heavy deficiencies? And where is the God's justice when you compare all these inequalities that we can observe when we observe a single life? And so this is a big question that we can only answer logically through the reincarnation. When you are reasoning on one life only, you cannot find this logic. But when you resonate, when you are thinking on several lives, in one life you are born rich, the next life you are born poor and healthy and with deficiencies and so on, there you can see how to say, you can conciliate all this with this infinite justice of nature's law and of God's law. It's one of the arguments. Of course, there are also some others. I would also like to mention quickly Colonel de Rocha. It was the director of the Polytechnic School in France. And he studied the reincarnation through regression. So he was inducing hypnotically some patients to go in their younger ages, and then to the birth, and then before the birth, and then before the death of the past life, and so on. And through this way, he could also gather a lot of how to say, accurate elements that could be then checked. And this has then also later on developed a lot, including today. You have some therapists or some psychiatrists and other professions of the same area who are using this past life therapy. They manage to how to say, to bring the patients back to a past life where there was a trauma or something, and then by knowing this trauma, they can do the therapy in this present life, explaining and finding the best way for the person to overcome this trauma. And this is particularly efficient for some cases, like when you have claustrophobia, for instance, or the opposite, agoraphobia. And so it works particularly well in such cases. But again, it has to be done by competent professionals, medical doctors in this area. And the fact to associate once more, as we told it before, the conventional therapies with this spiritualist model and aspects is helping a lot to improve the success of the treatments themselves.
Great. And Nadia, do you have any science studies that can share with us? So Charles, I can remove this.
Yes. I was just writing in the private chat to you. You can
Yeah,
remove
and
everyone can find them.
just let you know, like in Lithuania today, we have 71% people believing in life after death, and 42% people believe in reincarnation. So green field for you, my dear.
Yeah, very nice. No? Well, I think the most recent case Charles mentioned already, this boy in the US, but I can talk about some of the Dr. Hernani's case, which is a lady called Jacira. She reincarnated as her uncle died after suicide. He took some poison, and he died at the age of 28. Then after a few years, not after more or less 2 years, 2.5 years, she was born as her uncle's from her uncle's sister. So and at the age of 11 months old, she will start asking for family members, for her mom, her real mom, which was her grandma, and from cousins, and starts saying names. At the age of 2 years old, she remembered some life events, or her uncle life events, a cow that they had as a pet, and the cow start following them, and then they got very scared. This person, Ronaldo, and her mom. So, and then this was kind of like a trauma. And then she repeatedly mentioned to her mom, like, "Mom, do you remember when the cow was following us?" And so her brother and her, and how we got scared and so on. And her mom never she didn't want to promote more, to develop more memories, because she was afraid that her daughter would commit suicide as well, because she was the uncle who died after committing suicide. So she was always trying to deceive her daughter, saying like, "No, that's I don't remember. No, I don't know." And then she was like, "Oh, how can you not remember? You were there." So like, it was very, very obvious facts and events. And then at the age of 4, she started remembering her death. So when she was seeing any red drink, she was very scared, and she said, "I'm not going to drink it. This is poison." Because then her the previous spirit, the previous incarnation, the same spirit, previous incarnation, Ronaldo had died drinking poison, which was in a red color. So she was always like very scared of seeing people drinking, and she was very afraid of drinking anything red. But she wasn't having any aversion to any red color in clothes or anywhere, just red drinks. And she started describing her death. She started saying that, "Oh, Mom, I'm sorry for not telling you, and I just told another person who was who knew about this event, and she, as a spirit of her uncle, was saying, "I'm sorry for not telling you, because I drank that poison and I died." And she's in Brazil. We have at the 7th, after a week of death, we have some some photos printed to remember a Seventh-day Mass in the church, in the Catholic Church. And she saw that, and she said like, oh, what is that? And she got very angry and said like, I'm not dead. That's not me. Why do you have this thing? So this facts, when Dr. Ernani and other scientists try to investigate methodologically and very carefully, they try to eliminate fraud. So in her case, they excluded fraud because fraud usually happens when the person wants to get attention or get money from it, or popularity or some benefit from the event. And the family was the totally opposite, so they didn't want to talk about it at all. They had the spiritism knowledge, so they were going to spiritist centers in Brazil, but they didn't want to tell anyone, mainly because the parents were afraid that she could do the same thing as the previous life did, so committing suicide. So they were always trying to avoid anyone knowing it, especially her, knowing what happened in the previous life. So this excluded fraud. So they didn't have any notoriety or any financial benefit with it. They also mentioned about extrasensorial perception or telepathy. They said, okay, could be that through telepathy, paranormal communication between the mother and the daughter, then she could have this, or genetic memories, or she could then remember what the mom remember. But also they excluded it because genetic memory, then every other children, because she's not the only child, so all the other siblings would have some kind of remembrance from that previous life, or from Ronaldo, the uncle's life, but she was the only one, so this was excluded. Also, all the memories were until the age then when she was 18 years old. So after that age, the teenagerhood, she didn't remember anything, she didn't say anything. So they said like, okay, so if this was really telepathy, she would remember forever. So there would be always some moment of her life that she would remember, but after the teenagerhood, she couldn't remember anything, so she wasn't talking about it anymore. So this was also telepathy or extrasensorial perception was excluded. Also, they mentioned some tests that you can say, oh, is telepathy, Zener cards, this called. So like how you can evaluate the telepathy, the paranormal activity between two people. But also, she couldn't answer anything. She was like from 10, 1 was right, so she wasn't doing anything. She was also not a genius or an extra high IQ child. So she was a regular, normal child. So had normal life. There was nothing exceptional in her school grades or anything like that. So also this was excluded. So after excluding also trance, the mediumistic trance. So when the person is in trance or obsession or possession of the spirit, as some people mentioned, so they present a specific characteristic. So you can see that the person is in trance because the breathing is changed, the breathing rhythm, pattern change. After the event, they are kind of some somnambulistic appearance, or they have involuntary body movement. And this wasn't happening to this child, especially in a child, this should happen. So like there was nothing that they could say apart from, yes, that is reincarnation. So, and other scientists, as Dr. Erlendur Haraldsson from Iceland, Dr. Ian Stevenson, Jim Tucker, Ernesto Bonilla from Venezuela. Also, they all have this kind of pattern. The child remember things, events, people, names, places, and they never been before. So when you go back there, and then you can prove that, yeah, there was a person who died in this way, and confirmation.
Nadia, I'm sharing here. That's the book that you're
Yes.
just talk about. And I'm putting here a link. You can find this book in the Buzz website. You can download it for free. The link is in the comment box. So if you have any interest,
Yeah, it's
just
in
go to
English,
this
so
link.
it's very interesting. Yeah,
Yeah,
very
just go to
detailed.
the link
I cut
and
it because we don't have much time, but it's a very with many details this case, so it's
yeah,
very interesting.
yeah, exactly. But following what we have here, thank you for your inputs. Before open to Elsa, uh, we're gonna show here a brief video, like 1 minute video. It's our
I
recognition.
explain it. If you
Sorry.
want me to explain, if you want me to explain why we are showing this video.
Okay, you wanna play the video first and then explain, or we wanna explain and then play the video?
Now, I
What's
explain first, only to
okay?
say that Dr. Hernani Guimarães Andrade, as people knows in the book that just Nadia spoke about, that is free of charge in that website, because this is a homage to Dr. Hernani Guimarães Andrade, saying to him, thank you so much for everything that he did, research in Brazil, building important information, how our spirit can be molded to our body, because he had this biological format. He created this machine to show to students, to other scientists about the spirit, about the way that the spirit linked with the body, that he was an amazing person, a very well known in the world, in Italy or other places. And Stephen, we found some good information in Italy regarding his research published there. And Stephen has the small, only the cover of the
Yeah,
Metapsíquica Institute there. I think it was 1972. That was amazed to find this magazine, only a scientific magazine about this Dr. Hernani Guimarães Andrade research. So tonight we prepare a very humble video to show his presence with the guy Leon Playfair, his translator that translates these books for us in English, and Dr. Banaji as well, that visit him in São Paulo, and also Dr. Ian Stevenson visit Dr. Hernani as well. They had many times together, exchanging cases, etc., until Dr. Stevenson published more than 2,000 pages in 2 volumes about suggestive case of reincarnation. That's it. Now you can show the video.
okay.
Thank you, Stephen. Great.
Okay, my dear Elsa. So,
I'm so touched yesterday and today when I was organizing these photos and videos, and also seeing so many information that Guy Leon Playfair, because they were a very friends. They were together so many years in Brazil, Dr. Hernani and Guy Leon Playfair. So Guy decided to translate some books, and he had some manuscripts that we transform in a book like that, Science and Spirit, that the cases of poltergeist and reincarnation here. And also, Guy translated, it is very important that you saw the two covers. That is the old cover, and we are now organizing a new book about this case because it's a very important case, a very successful research, and we are probably in 1 month we will have a new cover in Amazon, an ebook, so everyone can read it because it's really touching, not only touching, convincing, not only convincing, it's a scientific proof of reincarnation. And I don't know if I have time, I can read it quickly about this book, or we can leave for next time. I don't know if I have time for today.
yeah, you have 3 minutes. Yeah.
3 minutes. But this book, Reborn for Love, this is a story for unusual relationship between the woman who calls herself Marine Waterloo and Father Jonathan, the priest who befriended her at their Catholic boarding school in the state of Minas Gerais, Brazil. They kept in touch after Marine left school, married, and raised a family. Following the birth of her second son, Marine was presented with compelling evidence that the boy had memories of incidents that had not taken place in his short lifetime, and of which he could have learned nothing by any normal means. This case, which is strongly suggestive of reincarnation, came to the attention of the pioneer of Brazilian psychical research, Dr. Hernani Guimarães Andrade, who promptly carried out a thorough investigation with the full cooperation of Dr. Dona Marini, who proved to be an ideal witness. The result is an account of one of the most convincing cases of its kind on record. Dr. Andrade examines all possible explanations for it: cryptomnesia, genetic memory, telepathy, mediumship, deliberate fraud, and reincarnation. Only the last of these, he argues, accounts for this fact. Reborn for Love, although of considerable scientific interest, is not a dry academic thesis. It could be called a spiritual love story, an account of how a relationship can endure from one lifetime to another, as Andrade concludes. There is much evidence that love is like spring. Both always come round again. So I invite you all, in a short time, perhaps 1 month, read this book on the Amazon, from the Amazon. Okay? Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, Elsa. Thank you. So, your final greeting, Charles.
Yes, thanks a lot, Elsa, for these outstanding explanations. Really, Hernani Guimarães Andrade made huge work, and I'm happy to see that so many translations are existing in English. We have still some tough to translate into French, but we will do it also. Because, I mean, voilà, this reincarnation is, I would say, surprising. But again, I mean, it's not by chance that you have a big part. You could see in the data only from the countries in Europe, but if you look in the world, you have, as we have seen in the first table, you have some continents where you have much more people believing in reincarnation, somewhere where it's part of the religion's knowledge, of the religious knowledge, like in India or wherever. So it's not by chance that this knowledge is coming from so old times. And now we reach the scientific period where we really have very accurate and with serious protocols, as Nadia also described, researches on this subject, which is of course complementary of the subject if we have a soul, because once we are convinced we have a soul, where does it come from? Where does it go to? These are immediately the next question. And this is what we try to answer somehow today for the reincarnation. So thanks a lot again to all for your assistance, and do not hesitate to come back with questions or suggestions.
Thank you, Charles. Nadia, any final comments?
Yeah, thank you for your participation. Thank you, Elsa, and Charles and Stephen for all the contribution. I just want to emphasize that this information, and they are very serious studies from serious researchers, and we have also to emphasize the fact that some psychotherapists or psychiatrists, they have to have a specific training in past life regression. It's not everybody, anyone can do it. So if you are interested, and especially in Lithuanian language, we don't have many books, but we have some important, like Brian Weiss. He had his well-known also writer about past life regression. Michael Newton, and I will copy Elsa. Is reading more, showing the book. So here in Lithuanian language, so we have information about past life. Yes, I have the two of them already. So he has more. He has another other books. So it's important to know what are you reading and which is the researcher or the professional. So it's very, if you have any questions, you can always write to us in the chat box. Even if it's not now live, you can do it tomorrow, the day after, whenever you are watching this video, we can answer you. Okay. Well, thank you very much, for your attention, and thank you for the participation as well of all of you. And Daniele also saying wonderful as always. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Elsa, greetings from UK.
Okay. I would like to say thank you for everything that we are doing in our life, because we have this opportunity in this reincarnation to do our best to prepare ourselves for another time. And I would like to invite you all to know about this wonderful book, The Gospel According to Spirit. That is not a religion book per se. For me, it's a psychological book. It's a psychology of studies. In the chapter 4, there's the entire chapter talking about reincarnation in the Gospel. But it's not a religion thing, not imposing. It's a fact. So it's a nature. Reincarnation is a nature. One of our 5 postulates that reincarnation is our life, is nature. So thank you all, thank you everybody, and see you next week again.
I want to say thank you everyone for being here with us. It's a pleasure. Always learning with these 3 amazing guys here, always giving facts, always supporting our findings, and thank you all for the good comments we have received here. Wonderful as always, like Daniela wrote here. So thank you very much. And once again, here is the beginning of the iceberg. So we expect you do your research. We put it here in the comments. Free books you can download, you can study. Also, a web page in which you can reach and see serious research not related to spiritism or any kind of religion. So study It's time to awake. It's time to understand. It's time to believe in yourself. It's time to get rid of old thoughts and assume the control of your own thoughts. So thank you very much. Thank you all. I wish you have a great week. I'll see you next week, and thank you, Kardec Radio, for the opportunity. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Bye-bye.